Hi, everybody. Today we're going to look at Unit 3, Day 9, and how we're going to eventually get to the structured historical paragraph tool. Now, we're going to start by looking at the sources, and then we're going to work our way through. This is going to take a little bit, but I think you got it. Because your teacher may have given this to you to look at the social class hierarchy in the Ming dynasty, meaning how there was the emperor on top, then the Shi, Nong, Gang, the Shang, and the lowest class is on the bottom, and they are below the class above them, who's below a class above them, who's below a class above them, who's below the emperor. It's a social hierarchy. It's one of those things that you learn for quite a bit in global, and you probably don't forget for a long time. Your teacher may have also asked you to analyze the social class hierarchy diagram. And you may have, see, click to add text. You may have added text here. You may have filled in all these lovely text boxes. You did that for background. Now, on your own, your teacher may ask you, or may explain it to you, or may show you this video to look at the way Ming society was highly influenced by Confucian philosophy, not just by social hierarchy. And in earlier lessons, you probably discussed, you see it says the basic tenets and beliefs. See that word over there, tenets? The underlying practices and beliefs of Confucianism. They also discussed, it says, the important role of scholar officials in governing and administering, you see that word, running the dynasty, meaning that's, dynasties pass from one leader to the next, usually from father to son, and the empire. Okay, so now your teacher is going to give you two or maybe one primary source document. The first one is going to reiterate, there's a lot of vocabulary here, reiterate or repeat the role of the scholar official. And then there's going to be another one that you're going to look at two, or may not look at. Describe the influence of Confucianism on the education and behaviors of individuals and groups of people who are members of certain social classes. That's going to be the second source. Okay, so your directions are read both documents, and as you read each, annotate. I know they always use that word annotate. In my mind, annotate means mark up so you don't have to read the whole thing again. So you're going to annotate the documents for connections, okay? Connections to the following: individual behavior, that's blue; group behavior, that's yellow; and then connection to Confucian belief, that's pink. So let's do this again, okay? We're going to actually go jump to our first source now. Let's just clear that up for ourselves again. Individual behavior is the document or the source making reference or mentioning to the influence of social class and or Confucianism on the behavior of individuals. Okay. Next is the document making a reference to the influence or social class and or Confucianism on the behavior of groups. And then finally, the pink is the document making reference to a specific tenet or belief about Confucianism, meaning major belief or something that goes under, like the support of all of it, or belief about Confucianism. So we have blue, yellow, pink. Individual social class Confucianism, yellow making reference again to group social class Confucianism, and then pink is, does this even connect to Confucianism? Now, this is source one, okay? Now, how would I look at it? I see this and I'm like, words, help, what do I do? This is a primary source, okay? And the first thing I do always is I circle the dates to make sure it's a primary source, meaning the dates match. The Ming Dynasty goes until the mid-17th century. That's fancy historian way of saying middle of the 1600s, goes to the 1300s or the 14th century till then. So those dates work. Now, let's look at this. I have the dates. Matteo Ricci is one of the first Jesuit priests. Jesuits, in case you don't know, is a congregation of Catholic priests known for their work in education and intellectual pursuits. To reach China in the late 16th century, meaning 1500s, right? We go to the one before century. Ricci died in Beijing in 1610, and his journals are published in 1615. Okay, primary source. This excerpt from Matteo Ricci's journal details some of the author's thoughts on Chinese society during the Ming Dynasty. Ricci went to China on assignment by the Catholic Church as a missionary to convert the Chinese to Christianity. Okay, he's a missionary, so he does not exactly agree with Confucianism. But when he first came, again, but soon became impressed with Chinese culture. Living in China for nearly 30 years, Ricci devoted countless hours to the study of Chinese language and Chinese classics, and even wore Chinese clothing. In this expert, Ricci compares Chinese culture to that of Western society, depicting or showing a stark contrast, meaning a difference between the two. So this gives you background. He's going to look at the difference between the two. So if we're going to see differences, we may ask him to put in for individual behavior or for group behavior, or maybe even Confucian belief. Okay, let's read this. Due to the great extent of this country, China, meaning that's why it's in brackets, it's not in his original source, north and south as well as east and west, it can be safely asserted, see that word over there, asserted, or put forward, that nowhere else in the world is found such a variety of plant and animal life within the confines of a single kingdom. So it says there's a variety of plant and animal life within the confines, within the limits of a single kingdom. So now I want to put that into group behavior, or I want to label it with group behavior, but I don't want to start like retyping the whole thing. This is how I'm going to do it, okay? Nowhere else in the world is such a variety of plant and animal life within the confines of a kingdom. So you see, I just highlighted it. Now I want to say that within this kingdom, they have a whole lot of plant and animal life. Okay. Um, so I am going to want it to be in group behavior because it's speaking about the whole kingdom, that they have so many different types of things. So I am going to highlight it. I'm going to go up to the highlighter here, the highlight color. I'm going to highlight it yellow. So when I remember it later, it's haha, that's something for group behavior. And either I could do it now or I could do it later. I can write, okay, many types of plants and animals for the whole kingdom. Probably not the biggest fact, though. I probably want to look a little more for group behavior. This is not the strongest argument, but I want to show you how you do it with the highlighter. Okay, let's keep reading. It's a matter of common knowledge, born out of our own experience, that the Chinese are most industrious people and most mechanical arts flourish among them. Meaning industrious, meaning hard workers, and mechanical arts flourish. Mechanical, meaning doing mechanical things like kind of like machines or pre-machines do very well there. So I don't know, meaning how things work together with each other. So again, I'm going to highlight this. I still have my highlighter in yellow, and I am highlighting it yellow. I'm going to write industrious people. Let's use different language. I like rephrasing. Hardworking people skilled at mechanics. So we have one example of group behavior. In the next video, we're going to look for Confucian belief, the connection to Confucian belief, and the connection to individual behavior. We're going to color code that and figure out how we want to organize things. If this is overwhelming, stop, take a deep breath, and rewatch this video. I know there's a lot of text, there's a lot going on. We're working on tools that will help you organize your thoughts when you annotate so you don't have to watch it again and read it again, unless you like doing things again and again and again. Some people do.